Hey, hey!
I'm going to talk about a basic review on Turborepo. So I'm Dani, I'm 33 years old. I work as a front-end engineer at Innovi. Here you can see my dog Yago and my wife Amiti. Without further ado, let's start. So monorepo. Definition. Monorepo is a version-controlled code repository that holds many projects. So I guess you all probably understand it. Instead of splitting the code between the backend and the front-end, all the code of the company, of the business, located at the single repo. Why should we use it? So pros. So monorepo lets you easier code sharing and reuse because you can have team like infrastructure and etc. And it's helps. It's easier. Improved collaboration. Actually, I wanted to put a funnier photo, but this didn't really. Yeah. It also helps you with standardization, which is a strong concept. Convention over configuration. I'm not going to dive into it, but it's strong concept and highly recommended. And easier code refactoring because all the code located at the same place again. And you don't need to activate the backend and back and forth and change and see that everything is really working, and you just change and everything is supposed to continue. Cons. So potentially long build times. So because you have a lot of code in the same location and you need to build it, it can take long times. Unable to restrict access. So it's a two-way sword. So because everything is open. So people can see, and if you want to restrict the rules and you don't want to share all the code in all the teams, it can be problematic. And Git performance. So because of a lot of people push a lot of code all the time to this repository, things can get messy fast. And this is one of the cons. So Turbo monorepo. The main features is, as I said at the beginning, basic monorepo features. It could boost build speeds by roughly 65 to 85% due to its caching ability that I'm gonna talk about soon. And it's 100% TypeScript, which is nice. And it has the ability of remote caching that I'm gonna mention shortly. So Turborepo also looks for places to split the build into parallel operation. I know it also has it in NX and other monorepo tools, but this is an example against Lerna. So you can see here that just take everything that it can and put it at a parallel. So it potentially do it faster. Caching tasks. So Turborepo can cache the result and logs of your tasks, leading to enormous speedups for slow tasks. How? Let's say you run a build task with Turborepo using Turbo Run Build, like this. Turborepo will evaluate the inputs of your task and turn them into hash locally. So you're gonna have a local in the node modules, a cache, Turbo, and inside there, they're gonna store all the cache. After you press enter on the npm Turbo Run build, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna check the local cache for a folder name with the hash, and then if the Turborepo doesn't find any matching artifacts for the calculated hash, Turborepo will execute the task. So if it doesn't find anything similar to what it has, it will execute from zero the tasks. Once the task is over, Turborepo saves all the outputs, including files and logs, into the cache under the hash, which means artifacts is all the inputs and outputs. So it saves it in the folder that I showed earlier, and it can use it again and again, which leads to enormous speedups. So let's say you run the task again without caching without changing any of the inputs again. Sorry for that. The hash will be the same because the inputs haven't changed. Turborepo will find the folder in the cache with the calculated hash. Instead of running the task, Turborepo will replay the output. Simple. So, remote caching. This is a strong ability of Turborepo, in my opinion. This is what makes it very cool. So, Turborepo, by default, as I mentioned earlier, the cache is local in the machine. And when you're working with a CI, this can result in a lot of duplication work. So a lot of teams can do the same build again and again and again. This is, well, if you work with big teams, it can result in a lot of time waiting and waiting for the same build that people already done. So instead of it, Turborepo lets you store the cache history in the cloud. So in the example that I took from the documentation here, one person run npm run build, and he built it, the first one here. Then another person in the same team or in a different team or whatever, run it again, the same build, and it doesn't have to be, like, it doesn't need to do the whole build from scratch. You just use the cache in the cloud. Yeah, so this can save a lot of time by preventing duplication work across your entire organization. And yes, 7 minutes. Good.